B-A-R-B, B-A-R-B, bold, active, resourceful, proud.
50 plus, so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. B-A-R-B, bold, active, resourceful, proud. B-A-R-B, bold, active, resourceful, proud. Oh yeah. Oh, we got the strength and we got the might.
Nothing can stop us now.
We all believe in what's true and right.
Nothing can stop us now.
Come on, stand up and shout out loud.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're bold, active, resourceful, proud.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. B-A-R-B, bold, active.
Bigger ones like the turn. So that you have them below the soil. You see this? These are the biggest that you create with. And then you generally just cover. You cover necessary. As you wet them, that copper material is going to sit. You wet them and then you wet this. If you cover them, then you wet that surface again. And use the water. You get the whole in one piece. So it's good if you could do this in place or as close as possible to where you're going to transfer it. Because when you lift up these cement trays now, they're going to buckle, they're going to bend, and you're going to shift it up. I love these spins. Right? So that you have to get the lock. So you lock the seat. Try to make yourself comfortable as possible. Initially, you try to wet them every day. Make sure they get a little moisture every day until they sprout.
Does it matter?
Afternoon is better. Try not to wet them at midday, because if they start to sprout and you hit them at midday, they get what's called sun shock. The coolness and the heat can be damaging to young seedlings. So you try to do it when it's cool in the evening, so there's not much change in temperature. So,
what about wetting it from the bottom? Resting the whole tray in a little water.
never done that before, but it might. If it's water that's going to drain out, yes. But if it stays there stagnant, you probably get what you call damping off. Where it starts to form a kind of brownish or whitish, greenish cast on top. If you do find that, and it happens with tomatoes and it happens with peppers sometimes, you get what's called damping off. You can take cinnamon from the kitchen, powder, and sprinkle it in, and it will kill off that fungus. Cinnamon's also an excellent rooting powder. Instead of using the rooting formula that you can buy, cinnamon actually encourages roots to form and get strong. So if you can make a small cinnamon mixture of water and cinnamon and dip your seed in it, put that in the soil, or wet the first couple of wettings with cinnamon water, and that will encourage rooting. You don't have to go and get your hormone. A lot of things we have around us in the kitchen are very good for the garden. Yeah, I imagine so. When you plant them together,
Bar.
Yeah. Cinnamon is a very good alternative to the hormone. So keep cinnamon around. It's good in the soil. There's also some insects that don't like cinnamon.
Oh, so you keep it up trays in shade or in partial shade though?
You keep it in equal shade. Don't have it in sun where it's going to be sun and then shade. Because the plant will want to go for the sun and it goes spindly along. So you try to make sure it's evenly shaded so that it's going to get the same amount of shade. You don't put really cellar on the house to do it. Because the plant is going to try to get that early sun and it will start to go spindly towards the light. And it will actually bend and have it going towards the light. So you want reduced sun but evenly placed throughout the day. So you can get it under a tree. Off the tree in the house. Some people just grow them out under trees. Some people like young women essentially grows it in their backyard and they come up. And,
here comes our trusty leader.
So any other questions?
50 plus, so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect resourceful, proud. B-A-R-P, bold, active, resourceful, proud. We're bold, we're active, resourceful, and proud. Can't stop, we're bold, we're active, resourceful, and proud. Raise up, we're boys, we're active, resourceful, and proud. Can sing, we're bold, we're active, resourceful, and proud.
Just loosen them up so that they're ready to move. Normally you would have these wet before you put them in the ground as well. You know, they're down.
Yeah.
You lean in.
The other way, the other. Think I'm gonna.
Okay, that one is as no,
Just.
So handling seedlings is a little technical thing in
Yeah, that
itself.
one. You level
Costs you
to
some
bring.
technique. But the mixture of the soil as well isn't as good. You got too many big lumps in it, so you start holding on to the soil.
Yeah.
Some cases I think grow back. Even tomatoes, you can get tomatoes and then cut them from a growing point, and they'll want to grow back as well. They'll say, look, remember if you plant a tomato deep enough, they'll send up roots all along the edge.
Yeah.
All along the edge of the tomato, they'll send up its own set of roots again. And when some tomatoes touch the ground, they'll start to root again.
Oh yeah.
So they encourage the root from higher up on the stem. So it's really important, especially longer plants, plant as deep as you can, so that the wind won't affect them or break them off as well. So different plants have different requirements, but generally I go by the rule of plant as deep as possible to give them as much moisture along with the growth to form as much as possible 100%.
50 plus so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song.
Most of the persons that were involved, hold on, have I got this right here? This is Audrey. Hi. Oh, sorry, no, I think this is for over here. Take that one. And this one is Audrey. Yeah. Who else is you, Audrey? June Stewart, Jennifer, to make a centerpiece. We'll have to imagine it for now. Over here, so you're with this group as well? Yeah. June, Jennifer, Golda, and Phyllis.
Muriel Ramsey, Sonia Poy.
Okay, and let me see your plan again. Generally, both of these are saying, yeah, draw it out there.
Priscilla Bellamy. Elrich Bell. Ruth Taylor.
Okay, look, this is yours here. So what we're going to do is, all the persons that have root crops, we haven't got root crops to put in. So we're going to just put the stickers in, we're going to draw up the labels and just mark where they would go. So you would have an idea where they would look. So somebody could write up beets. What does it have on your central, Audrey? Excuse me, Audrey. What do you have on your central section? What do you have on the central section for both of those plants? You could write those out. No, we're going to write them out and we're going to stick the sticks in place where they would go. Just to give it into, yeah, beets. And the same thing over here. The central part of your plan has what? Root crops again?
Yeah.
You have herbs. You have herbs on either side. Cabbage at the ends. On this one you have herbs again on either side, so that's consistent. So let me get you some chives and some of the other herbs. You have your plan, right? So you can take up some of the herbs as you need them and you want to start working them into the soil. So remember, try to bury them the deep. Where's your hand tool? Let me borrow it a sec. So make your hole, no, this soil isn't wet enough, right? See how under there is dry. You spread all the water, so you kind of wet below the surface more so. And you can plant this as deep as this. Cover. And pat them in. Now, I'm just doing that as an example. You'll put this where you have it on your plan. Right. So that would be your section that may not have the sticks. You wrote out those sticks already? For the, right. Yeah. I'll give you an idea on the spacing on them.
So this house still the one with the echelon, right? Echelon?
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
echelon.
Or down China.
So what's the herbs that you have currently?
They're family. Try to get the small one there.
You have
The ones that were on the plan. I don't know what we're supposed to do with them.
Straight up. There's no echelon.
Yeah. All of those are echelons.
well, radishes. You can actually get 16 in the area in a square foot. So if you have a label with radish, okay. Well, put radish in where you think it would sit well on your plant in that area.
Should be somewhere in the middle.
Right. You have more than one marked radish? Okay, well,
No, another one?
no, what we could do is we can make this square with the tool. Pass me the tool a sec. We can make this square where the radish would sit. So this would be our radish. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Right. And the other plants that you have in that area, inside the center? Beet.
And carrot.
Mm-hmm.
The other people have any?
You could put some here, so you can have a square here by itself. So this whole section here is for carrot.
Two little carrots in there.
And then you can have, you got two areas there that don't have any.
Not too close there.
Now you could put that in legumes. If you wanted to, you could put a legume in there. I got them. So you want to put any legume seeds? One in each? Yeah, you're going to put them in. Once you leave the markers in there, you drop that in really. There's a legume there. Is it going right now? And carrot would take up that whole section there. Okay. All right. And what plants do you have now for the outside? So that's the center complete more or less. You got two legumes in there.
Bold, active, resourceful, proud.
50 plus so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and
Now you're taking into account where the sun is rising and falling. The sun is rising over here, falling over here. So the beds aren't set to how we would really have preferred.
Sun is rising there?
On the east,
These are 12 inches? 12 inches or close?
they should be 12 inches apart.
You see?
The one a little too close.
Go ahead.
And remember your spacing as well when it comes to things like your upright plants, so that you can get them to adequate growth area. So these are the shives here.
Yeah.
So you can actually put them in. And the spacing on shives I think was fairly close.
So all here will be chives? Yeah.
Oh, in that block there? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. This is a little bit more than a square foot. Parsley. You had herbs on one section of the plan, right? On both sides. So you could put another set of herbs there. You could put your parsley up there. You could put your parsley further right here. 'Cause on your plan you have herbs on two sides. And they're quite neat.
How many more red Chinese can go here?
In a square foot, you probably got it there. That's a square foot. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then the green lettuce now can go.
Remember, they can take the shade. So if you had something over either side of them that was tall, they'd be okay in the middle. So you could put a tomato maybe over there or over here.
Green lettuce or red?
That's red, I think.
Red. These are okras.
Chinese cabbage?
We need to put something.
On this side, we had herbs on the plan down the sides, so you could finish off that with herbs, and then you could put your, as you have it here, the lettuce. Yeah, you can only put one a square foot, so you may get one, maybe two in there. You do a good hole, very good.
Bold, active, resourceful, proud.
50 plus so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. BARP, bold, active, resourceful, proud. BARP, bold, active, resourceful, proud. Yeah.
putting your legumes only in the center so far, right?
We're both activists full proud.
There, have a legume.
Just in the center section. Now you're
On
gonna
the edge,
you,
on the edge.
you have some taller plants as well. So remember the fruiting trees, they can take the sun. They need full sun. The lettuces, well, you can tell me. Where would you put your fruiting trees? You got peppers and you got tomatoes.
We got the pepper there.
Right. You can have tomatoes. Now you got one end with high crops. You can have another end. These are tomatoes. These are tomatoes.
This area you can easily put the frame here.
Yeah, and let them grow up. Like how you had in your garden with that round thing. You do them like that. Tomato? You have another one?
Y'all have the kale down there?
Yes. It's there. It's there. The sign is there.
Only one. Okay.
So have you stuck to the plan and what you've done so far? You still got space down both sides.
Another tomato. That's the cabbage.
Here's another tomato.
And tomato.
2 more tomatoes. You have tomatoes.
Tomato.
50 plus so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong.
So we can come around with the lettuce.
Yeah. Make sure you give it 12 inches between. Yeah, that's good. But you just had your hand. That's where you had your hand just now was fine. No.
There's only one cilantro.
Only one cilantro.
Okay.
One cilantro, one dill, one.
Put another lettuce.
Philip, what's this?
Yeah.
Find two like this.
Oh, that's lettuce.
That's cilantro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can have that.
Our
Okay.
Philip lettuce over here. So you can put some over there. How are you going on that side here? Have you got something going on here?
You have any more kale sticks? You have any more kale sticks? I don't think so though. I'm gonna put this cilantro opposite that to mirror that. Still?
50 plus so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. B-A-R-P, bold, active, resourceful, proud. B-A-R-P, bold, active, resourceful, proud. Oh, yeah. Oh, we got the strength and we got the might.
Nothing can stop us now.
We all believe in what's true and right.
Nothing can stop us now.
Come on, stand up and shout out loud.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're both activists full proud.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. B-A-R-P.
The beans I gave you are called sword beans. Sword
How do
beans.
the sword beans grow? Do they grow really tall or do they?
No, they generally, in their growth, when they grow to about 3 feet maximum. And then they'll send out some smaller shoots and smaller vines, but you can always cut those back. But the plant will start harvesting probably after 6 to 8 weeks. You'll start to see the beans actually coming out. So they're a nice bean. They're very flavored. They have a better flavor than string beans. And they should last a lot longer. They should last up to a year if you look after them.
How far apart should we plant them?
The plant in the space.
Yeah, space.
You can do them, I do them at 18 inches to cover the whole ground. I use them as a cover crop. So if I don't have anything else I'm going to plant, I'll plant a section of the garden of those. So when you come down, if you get to come down there next week, you'll see how I try to use them as a cover crop and always keep legumes in the garden. Even if I'm planting squash or pumpkin, I always see legumes planted around the garden. So
When is the best thing to plant these seedlings?
you mean from seedlings into the ground? The best time to plant seedlings is generally on the afternoon when the sun is cooling down, so they don't have to go through any stress. Generally, sun is going to stress them out. So if you can prepare your bed during the day and wet it during the day, and then wait till the afternoon, like after 2, 3 o'clock, just before the sun goes down, and get them in then. And then just give them a little wetting again in the evening time. So next morning they should survive fairly well because they go through the night with that moisture. And then by the early morning you could give them another little wet, leave them again till the next afternoon. But you'd wet them every day for the first 3 or 4 days till you see some kind of germination.
And generally in watering, what's the best time of day to water?
Evening time.
Evening time.
Evening time as it cools down. The best time to water, sorry, the best time to water is on the evening. After 3 o'clock is generally best. If you can let it right down to 5, 6 o'clock is good.
But when I water in the evening, I find that slugs as a plant, so I tend to water in the morning.
But once it's cool, if it's early enough and it's cool, if you have mulch, if you're going to wet in the morning and you have mulch down, it's no problem. The mulch is going to maintain the soil moisture. If it's like a bare soil like this, you might better to wet in the evening time where it's not going to get sucked out of the earth.
One of the questions I really wanted to ask, you know when we were doing the seedling,
Yeah.
tiny ones we used to pick and we tried to wet it so
Yeah.
But then when we were planting the chives and the echalot, you notice that every seedling had about 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So that's because the person didn't use your method. Of
That's right. And that's where you can lose, when you don't separate the plants, as you was asking about, the plants being held together, if you don't separate them, you're going to lose some in transplanting. So it's better if you can get it right when you're planting the seedlings. And if you go to a seedling company to buy seedlings, look out for that as well. Because some people will sell them just like that, bunched up, and you might think you're getting a deal because you got 10 seedlings and the thing, but eventually when you break them down, you might only get 1, if so much survive.
carrots.
Especially, well, carrots you generally try to plant direct. Because they send out an immediate root. So when you try to transplant them, you pull them out the seedling tray, you'll break them. So it's better to plant them directly in the soil. But there's some stuff that I've been speaking about, but you might not have the physical information, especially companion planting. Somebody mentioned that today. But what I'll do is there's a website that you can look at, and I'll make sure that I pass the website to Monica, because the actual document was fairly thick. And Monica made a good point. You don't want to kill so many trees by reducing so many pieces of paper. So we'll try and find a website that you could look for it, and you just keep a mental note of the different companions and how they work. I think that's one thing that we didn't have in the physical handout that you should have had.
Question here. When you're planting chives,
Yeah.
don't you want them to be close together?
There's a limit on how close. When you plant chives, you've got to consider that they will start to send out a root format as well, and that root format will start to compete with each other if they're too close. So you give them enough space that when the roots start to spread, they'll have space to get big. Because the fact they're going to get big means that their roots are going to spread out as well. And another general rule with plants is the width of the foliage. You see like this tree here, the growing root is out here. There's a root as the same as this out there. So when you wet a plant, you don't have to wet it close to the center. You wet it where the growing root is and it will get bigger. A lot of times we wet plants too close to the stem and it will just stay small. But the plant has a growing root that's at the edge of its circumference, of its canopy. And that's where it really needs the moisture in order for it to swell out and grow. If you want them to stay small, wet them closer to the root, to the center. And they'll grow and it's not very good for them because they'll balk. So you kind of leave space, that's where you have spacings. So the growing edge can get the moisture and maintain the growth of the plant. So that's something to remember when you've got trees and stuff.
As those plants are planted now, I would have the tendency, if I planted them at my home, to mulch all around each plant
Right.
with some
Dry material.
or dry material.
Yeah.
And then when I water, the water doesn't impact the soil, but
Right. That's good. To mulch after you plant is very, very good. Sometimes you can actually mulch before you plant and make a hole in the mulch and put it inside there, but it's making sure you have moisture in the soil. If you mulch and then you wet and there's no moisture in the soil, that moisture is going to get evaporated in the mulch. So it's important that you wet the soil.
if we wet the hay and you wet it and prepare the soil properly,
Right.
and mulch,
Yeah.
those plants would probably do a little better.
Yeah, they would. I would think so. Mulch is really essential. If you can imagine that the wind and the sun is going to pull out like 60–70% of the moisture. So the mulch is going to retain most of that. So you can actually use less water if you got mulch. It's very good to keep mulch on the
I
ground.
also find that without the much water makes the soil hard.
Yeah, it will impact the soil. It will get compacted. And you can see that soil is fairly compacted. So you need to go back in and add mulch and turn that mulch into the topsoil every so often. And try to introduce earthworms. I know some people don't like the insects. Where is she? The lady that... But the insects is what's really going to keep that soil aerated. And even if you go through with a fork and just every so often just stick the fork in certain spots just to let air get into the soil, that's important for the microbes to have something to live off of as well.
Any idea
Any riverside? A riverside or a pond side? Up there. Oh, at Margaret Lewis, yeah, the cow down. They got a lot of manure up there, yeah. When you pass through St Andrew, we can stop somewhere. If we go out next week, we'll do all that shopping. Shopping the countryside.
And John, just reminding you, when you send us the URL for the companion plan,
Yeah.
you can send us something that will tell us.
Yeah, but let it dry. Don't put it in green. Anytime you put mulch, it should be dry as possible. Anytime you're using mulch. Okay, you got the black soil. And it gets caked on top. Yeah, dry leaves can be used. What major thing to make out is that they don't have any diseases. Like they don't have like a fungus on them or mildew. You don't want to put that onto them. Sometimes you might get, like they'll be dry but they'll be moist. You know what I mean? You don't want them to be that moisture with that mildew necessarily because that could add something to soil you don't want. But dry and clean and put them on top. And put them fairly thick, 2 to 3 inches minimum. It can be much as 4 inches, but 2 to 3 inches minimum. It should be at least 2 inches of mulch to have an effect, to have a good effect.
What would you say is the safest type of mulch to guard against the same disease like this?
Safest type. Bagasse is a safe mulch because bagasse generally dries very quickly and it dries fairly well once you got it spread out. But once it's heaped, the bottom section is going to carry a little moisture it's near the soil. So you take off the top and let the next set turn it over and let that dry again, and then take off your top and turn it over. So if you've got a big pile of stuff, the bottom section generally is going to have that white stuff, that fungus. So you can take off the top that's very dry and turn over the heap, and then use the dry as it dries out, turn that over again. But don't put anything that's green or turning as mulch, because it will suck nitrogen out of your plant. And you don't want that.
Dried lemongrass. The dried lemongrass leaves.
Uh-huh.
You know, they have a lot of dry ones underneath the
Yeah.
I cut those out and use them as mulch for the...
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, because they have a scent as well. Yeah, they have a scent. Right. One thing we didn't incorporate in there is aloe vera, but aloes is a good plant to have around as well. You can shred aloe and use it as a pesticide, but we'll talk about pesticides next week. Shred it and mix it with water and use it as a pesticide.
In the water? In the water.
You put it in the water and spray it, because it's very bitter, so a lot of insects don't like it. A lot of humans don't like it. So that's more than 3 questions, but I don't mind. Somebody missed it all. Yes? You can watch the movie.